stabbing them to death in their beds at their home in Streatham, Cambridgeshire at around 2:30 a.m. with kitchen knives that Rekha had bought from Asda 2 days earlier specifically for the purpose. Hello there and welcome, I hope you are doing well. My name is Gabby and in today's video we'll be going through the heartbreaking and sickening murder of 2 daughters by the hand of their own mothers. If you enjoy true crime, consider subscribing to the channel as I release new videos every week. But for now, let's get into the video. This is the case of Rekha Kumari-Baker. Shortly before 6:30 a.m. on the 13th of June 2007, a message was left on the answer phone of Natalie Barford, a special constable in Cambridgeshire, England. The message was from a friend of Natalie's named Rekha Kumari-Baker, and the message was as follows: "I've done something terrible, Natalie, please call me." The terrible thing that Rekha had done was the murder of her 2 daughters, 16-year-old Davina and 13-year-old Jasmine, stabbing them to death in their beds at their home in Streatham, Cambridgeshire at around 2:30 a.m. with kitchen knives that Rekha had bought from Asda 2 days earlier specifically for the purpose. After purchasing the knives, she had taken the 2 girls on a shopping spree to Lakeside in Essex to, as the police later put it, soften up her daughters and ensure that they'd stay at her house overnight. It was later established that Rekha had postponed her murderous plan for a day after Davina, who normally didn't get along with her mother and usually spent weeknights at her father's house after Rekha had thrown her out, had sent her an affectionate text saying thanks. However, it wasn't enough to stop her from going ahead with the murders. The first victim was Davina, who tried to defend herself to no avail, resulting in a total of 37 stab wounds, including multiple defensive wounds. Jasmine was attacked in her sleep and never even had a chance to wake up before succumbing to her 29 stab wounds inflicted by her own mother. Rekha then changed out of her bloodied nightdress, got dressed and went out twice in her car before ringing Natalie. In other phone calls she said, "I've killed the kids, the children are dead, and I stabbed them with knives from the kitchen. This is terrible. At least the children are safe now, nobody else can hurt them." When she was arrested, Rekha told police, "I killed my 2 beautiful daughters." A note found at the house in which the murders took place following the discovery of the bodies and signed Rekha read, "Sorry doesn't mean anything now. I've killed my 2 daughters. I did not want them to get hurt like I did. Jeff hurt me so much I cannot explain. He found it difficult to compromise at times, but I loved him so much. My kids will not be a burden with anyone anymore." The Jeff mentioned was Jeff Powell, Rekha's boyfriend and local furniture maker. The relationship was floundering, but authorities soon concluded that it wasn't the primary motivation for the murders. During the trial, the prosecution alleged that Rekha had killed her daughters to destroy the happiness of her ex-husband, David Baker. The couple had divorced in 2003 and their lives had gone down different paths. While Rekha was in a failing relationship and had quit her waitressing job, David was a successful businessman and was happy with his new partner, Katie Cohn, who Rekha disliked, David later saying that there had been friction between them. Rekha denied murder but admitted to manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility due to an abnormality of the mind, claiming that she had suffered from depression. She had told police after her arrest that she had gone on the 2 car drives after the murders with the intent of killing herself. However, prosecutors said that there was no evidence of attempted suicide. She did, however, have a history of concerning behaviour, the vice principal of Davina's school, Stephanie Franklin, having told police Rekha had been a volatile woman who frequently showed strange mood swings, and that she found her behaviour at times extremely erratic, recalling one particular meeting at the school where she was saying about Davina, "I wish she was dead." Jurors also heard how on one occasion teachers concerned for Davina's welfare after she was taken out of school without permission had tracked her and her mother down to a local supermarket car park. In 2003, Rekha's GP diagnosed her as having reactive stress with mild depressive features and referred her to a counsellor. However, following her arrest on the same day as the murders, she'd been examined by an expert in depression who found no sign of mental illness. The jury was clearly unconvinced by the claim of diminished responsibility, as it only took them 35 minutes to reach a unanimous verdict of guilty on 2 counts of murder. The presiding judge was similarly unconvinced, telling Rekha that most people will find it inexplicable that a mother could kill her own children, and you have given no explanation for it. You are certainly upset at the breakdown of your relationship with Jeff Powell. I think this mild depression was probably combined with a wish to retaliate against David Baker and destroy the happiness in his life. You knew quite well what you were doing, and you were not mentally ill. The crimes you were, as the prosecution rightly put it, murder, full stop. Dressed in black, Rekha remained expressionless, only blinking occasionally as the sentence and victim impact statement were read out. In the latter, the girl's grieving father, David, said, "Even as I begin to write, I am aware that my words may not be sufficient to express the length and depth of the pain and loss I feel. To have them taken from me in such a brutal way and by the woman who was their mother and charged with their care has had an incalculable effect on me. I suffer from strong feelings of guilt that I didn't see it coming and helplessness that I have not been able to do anything about it. I remain haunted by the horror of that night and probably will remain so for a very long time." Rekha Kumari always believed her children were an extension of herself, existing to further her own life ambitions. She tore them from us all, and life can't be the same for those who remain. The ripple effects of their killing stretch out far indeed. Nothing will ever bring my girls back or undo this monstrous act. I will never see them again in this life, though they live in my heart. Rekha Kumari-Baker was sentenced to life with a minimum of 33 years in prison, although the sentence takes into account the 2 years and 92 days she spent on remand. In 2010, the BBC stated that it was one of the longest jail terms given to a woman in the UK in modern times. Speaking outside the court after the verdict, Detective Inspector Jim McCrory, who led the investigation for Cambridgeshire Police, said, "In my 25 years of police service, I have never investigated such an upsetting and sickening crime." That was the case of Rekha Kumari-Baker. It's impossible to imagine a mother brutally taking the lives of her own children, and in this case, out of spite for her ex-husband's success and happiness. Your parents should be the people you trust the most in life to look after you, but unfortunately, Rekha Kumari-Baker obviously didn't see that as her responsibility. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so if you enjoy my videos. But until I see you again, please be safe, be well, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.